Look at this. Look. Look at it. Do you see that? What the hell is going on? Look. What? I'm sorry, but I have not gotten over this. It's been 2 days and I'm not over this. That looks so weird to my brain. My entire physical being does not want to accept this. Just doesn't want to accept it. And I flipped inside the thing, because I ran into my kid's room and I went, it's Berenstain, obviously. This is just silly, right? No. Down here in the copyright information, this book right here, which is from 1971, copyright, Stanley and Janice Berenstain. Berenstain. What is going on here? I have lived my entire life in a world where there was no such thing as a Berenstain bear. Have we entered like an alternate reality? Is this a glitch in the Matrix? Is this the multi-universe, multiverse, multiple dimension theory? Like, what in the hell is going on? Sorry about that. I'm bringing it back down. We're coming back down. I'm going back to my center here. I can't believe I'm doing a video on this. This information was sent to me 2 days ago, and I am not over it yet, and so I'm gonna have to talk to you guys about it. I don't know what to do with myself right now over something that seemingly should not be that big of a deal, and yet somehow it really is. It was one of those sentimental things, and I kept my copy from my childhood, and I read it to my kids, and I have very vivid memories of the Berenstain Bears books. It's one of those vivid, visceral memories from childhood that I have, and I remember thinking to myself, how do I pronounce this? Is it Berenstain or Berenstain, like Frankenstein? Now flash forward to 2 days ago when I was sent a bevy of information from a very nice guy named Jason on YouTube. Very well researched, has a whole playlist and a whole bunch of information, and that is going to come in future reports once I've had a chance to fully digest what in the hell is going on here. He asked me, do you remember the Berenstain Bears? And yeah, of course, I remember them. I still have one of the books in my house. What is this? You guys, this scares me. This is so, I can't look at this. It's like a fake. I immediately went online to eBay and Amazon, and I started looking up old vintage stuff, right? One of the first things I found on eBay was a vintage Berenstain. I'm not going to say Berenstain. I'm sorry. No one is going to force me to do that. On eBay, there is a vintage lunchbox for sale, and the picture of the lunchbox says Berenstain. But even the comic book store that's selling the lunchbox wrote in the title Berenstain or Stein, whatever. It's with an E, because we all know this. This is... what? This can't just be a mass hallucination. I saw a video that someone put up where they tried to explain this away by saying that we just all filled in the blanks in our head with an E because A looks weird. No, there's lots of words that look weird that if my brain just wanted to change the way a word looked so it looked less weird. I mean, there's tons of words like that we would be changing mentally all the time. This is hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people that are saying, what the hell is going on? I do not remember this being spelled with an A. I called friends and family. We talked to I probably talked to like 6 people straight off the bat, just as soon as I got the book out of my kid's room, just to ask them just to see if I could find one person anywhere, just one, who remembers this being spelled stain. Nobody. I couldn't find one person. I don't know anyone who remembers Berenstain. Ah!
I don't know what else to tell you. It's really weird. It's kind of messes with my head. It's kind of troubling. It really is.
If those memories are wrong, and it's always been Berenstain, what other memories in my head can I not rely on? You know what I mean? It's like we all live in Dark City or something, and then we go to sleep at night and they rearrange things, and you wake up and it's different. And you can't quite put your finger on it, and no one knows how to get to Shell Beach. That's what I feel like right now. And I'm starting to think that if you start to look around yourself, you're going to notice that there are things that you didn't notice before that are just changed somehow from when you were little, and you just can't explain it.
So don't be alarmed. Don't be alarmed. Been coming under a lot of heat, even by born-again Christians. They just don't seem to get it. They just don't seem to understand. And this, I believe, is a strong delusion. Their rationale for the way they are trying to say that this isn't real, it's witchcraft, or nothing has ever changed. But what we once seen, and this is what they don't understand, what we once seen written in the King James Version Bible, or the 1611 King James Version Bible, we know that this is what was the written word. Now it has changed. It's just one thing after the other, and I have been doing a little bit of research. I mean, who remembers that movie, Dirty Harry? You remember Dirty Harry? And there's a famous line in that movie. Oh, do you feel lucky, punk? Remember Dirty Harry? Do you feel lucky, punk? Now it says, hang on, I got things popping up. Now it says, instead of, do you feel lucky, punk? Now it says, I feel lucky, punk. I feel lucky, punk. A lot of things have just changed, and there's no way that if you grew up watching these movies, and it's your memory that is being tampered with. And I don't know if it has to do with CERN or this quantum physics, and it's just crazy. It's just crazy. But we are being attacked in every angle and every direction. But we're living in the end days, and when you bring the darkness to light, the enemy gets mad. The enemy is not happy. I see so many things out of place. I see ministers, pastors not even talking about this. It's the ones that do and are debunking it, and oh, it's witchcraft and it's a devil. But then you have the other side of the coin. They're not even speaking on this. They're not even talking about it. And there's a reason. There's a reason. They are pulling in a lot of funding through their viewers and followers. They don't want to upset the water. They want to keep the water nice and still. They don't want to create any waves. You know, this world is going crazy. I want to go home. 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 I want to go home.
Then when the Wizard of Oz stuff started happening, and that kind of freaked me out, you know, because I mean, I've had other things that I've found residuals for, but I've never had anything that I've seen. I couldn't understand how in the world my VHS tape just changed, because that was the first time I'd ever really up close and personal experienced the Mandela effect. So I decided to get that particular version out, the one that I made. I had to look through some hard drives to find it, but I found it and watched it and forwarded to that scene, and it was fine. Nothing had changed. So I did a screenshot, opened it up into I use PaintShop Pro 7 still a lot. It's just what I've used so much. I'm very good with it. Use GIMP and Photoshop some, but PaintShop Pro for most quick things. Open it up and it's fine. Okay, so minimize it, go back to watch the movie, rewind back again, and it just changed right there in front of me. all of a sudden it wasn't that way anymore. It was not the old reality. All of a sudden, now it was the new reality. So I thought, well, I'm certainly glad I've got that screenshot. Well, I opened the, maximize that, and son of a bitch, it changed. And that really freaked me out. Okay, I mean, that's when everything was just first getting changed around, and it messed me up. But I don't think that one was quite as bad as the VW stuff. I guess it's about time I share my personal Mandela effect stories. Extremely personal things that shook me to my core. Um, and I'm going to explain that one to you now. This thing's been in storage for a little while at my mom's, and the way I built the windshield, there's a grease in here inside this channel, and when I show you this logo since 2010, since this picture was taken, here's the other angle. Not quite as clear, but you can still tell. Believe me, you'll tell the difference. And this was taken, and see, here's the bar, same panel. It's just been in storage for a while, but look here. Now this was taken Christmas morning of this past year of 2017. Excuse me. When I saw this was worse than the this was this was worse than the Wizard of Oz thing to me, because I hadn't been over there to look at this until we always have Christmas breakfast at my mom's during Christmas, on Christmas morning, my family and I. And I hadn't been over there to see it, so let's bring this one back up. That one's a little better shot. Now, when I got out there, I'm sorry, excuse me. When I got out there and saw that it had changed and took that picture, this one, I went back in the house, filled up a mug of coffee, went outside, and just sat there. And the only thing that could go through my mind was, like that scene in The Matrix where he first goes to meet the Oracle, and she says, "Don't worry about the vase," and he says, "What vase?" and he knocks it off. And then he says, "Sorry," and she said, "Oh, what's really going to bake your noodle later is, would you have broken it had I said anything?" Well, to me, that just kept running through my mind. Did this thing know I was coming out here? Did the system, the simulation, the matrix, whatever this is that we live in, this reality, did it know I was coming to check on this? And did it change specifically because I was coming to check on it? Or has it already been changed and I just haven't, I haven't been over there to notice it? When did it change, I guess, is what is blowing my mind. But
and I'm talking about the same shit, the Mandela effect, the psychopaths that we live with now, who may or may not seem to be the same people that were once family members, friends, acquaintances, that are no longer the same anymore, who act like demonic possessed assholes for no reason. This is what we're living in. It's like some kind of post-apocalyptic sideshow, half-ass copy of some reality we used to live in, where half the people are like real, like you and me, and the other people are like these fake soulless drones that are taking orders from someone, even though you don't know who that one is. Does that make sense? Anyway, it's just a rundown about what most people think the Mandela effect is. What we've noticed in this community is that we, as the affected, tend to be more open-minded. We are more empathetic. We care about other people, even people that are shitty to us. We'll be giving them like tries and tries and tries, and we just keep giving them more and more opportunities to like change themselves and be good people, but they don't. And that's the kind of person I sees the Mandela effect, like the detailed people who care about things that matter. And that's why we see these things. The main thing about waking up, and that's what I'm calling it now, being woke or waking up, awoken, is that when you wake up, you see all of it and it makes sense. And because your friends and family members are included into the people that are harassing you or making your life more difficult, you want to fall back asleep, want to believe that they wouldn't be doing something like that. Like they're actually decent people. But the thing is, they're not. It doesn't matter if you were born of them, if they created you. Just because they brought you into this reality does not mean that they're good people. It's kind of like the other thing I was talking about, Stockholm syndrome, when an abuser or an attacker or someone who's evil, being violent, takes a hold of someone that's innocent. Sometimes in that whole rampage and the whole fiasco of being held captive, you begin to have caring feelings towards your aggressors. This is called Stockholm syndrome, and I suggest you guys look it up again. But don't let Stockholm syndrome fall over you all over again. This is called falling back asleep. They'll begin to attack you again, and as I've experienced again, I knew this was going to happen. At work especially, they're starting to come back through. It's like an artificial reality where people that act like you're crazy, just to manipulate and to design stupidity. I don't know. Maybe. I have no idea. It's kind of like it, but yeah, if you think about it, like your body is this little virtual reality like thing where your soul is experiencing part of this reality, but something happens where certain people are singled out. People that seem to see the Mandela effect seem to be singled out by their community, by their friends, family members, often being called schizos or conspiracy theorists, when, obviously conspiracy theory isn't even really a word anymore. You see the Mandela effect and you talk about it and they get angry at you and they start acting strange towards you. No matter if you're good or bad to them from that point forward, once they know that you've waken up, they will make your experience bad no matter what. That's kind of like how they operate, man. And the goal is to obviously leave you on the streets. So quite literally, our politicians, our celebrities, are super rich. They're all sociopaths, psychopaths, sick fucks with lots of money, and they're very prestigious, and they look like they could be people of well influence and people with maybe good intent. But we all know that that's not true. And probably most of the people that are out in the streets, homeless, are probably decent people. So if you see one struggling with like drugs and addiction that's homeless, help them in a way that wouldn't feed their addictions, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Give them food, help them find shelter, help them find warm clothes and stuff like that. But Mandela effectees, target individuals, target Mandela effectees. The truth is out there. The truth will set you free. You are not alone. Remember, they put these words out there to make you feel like comfort, but what comfort? There's only truth. Truth is love.